everyone. It's August, duh, but I'm so glad. I don't know. I'm just so glad July's over, which is unusual for me because I'm definitely usually love the spring and summer. I just love all the greenery and animals and birds, and there's just so much life going on during the warm months, and I usually love it so much, but I am so happy July's over, and I can't even tell you why. I can't even tell you why. But anyways, I'm so glad it's August. July was an okay reading month for me. I mean, it was fine. It was fine. I have, again, no complaints. It was just a good old reading month, and I got some good stuff read and some okay stuff read, but nothing terrible and no DNFs. So, I mean, success, right? So today I'm just going to share my July wrap up and talk a little bit about what I read. The first book that I read in July was The Tall Woman by Wilma Dykeman, and that was a library book. It was one of those random shelf pulls, again, that I've been doing lately because I can never find the things that I want to read at my library for my Goodreads list. They just don't have them in their system. So I just have to make do if I don't want to buy books, which I don't need to buy books right now, so I'm making do. But one of the main reasons I picked up The Tall Woman is because it was a story that took place in Western North Carolina during the Civil War time period. So automatically, ding, that's a winner for me. I want to read it. So I read it, and it just basically followed the life of a woman. And it starts out during the Civil War time period, but it doesn't really focus on the Civil War at all. It moves on from that rather quickly. And just her life from that point on with her family. And as she grows from a young married woman into an older woman that's having her first grandchildren. And it just sort of follows her life. I don't really have anything to say much about the book other than it was okay. It wasn't fantastic. It wasn't terrible. I read it rather quickly. You know, I didn't have to force myself to read it, so it was good in that way, I guess. You just wanted to keep going with the story. It was one of those stories that there's just stuff that happened in the woman's life. Things and stuff on a timeline throughout her life. And nothing really huge, in my opinion. I do wish maybe, I feel like the characters could have been a little bit more developed, and I didn't feel that invested in any of them. So when anything happened to someone, you know, I didn't really care. This makes it sound horrible. It was an okay book, guys. It was just an okay book. A time passer. It was more interesting for me because it sort of takes place in my local-ish area, so that's why I liked it. So, The Tall Woman, if you want to look that up and give it a go. If you like reading about way back in the day in Appalachia, which I do, I'll always give those kinds of books a chance. The next book that I read was Impatient with Desire by Gabrielle Burton, and I don't know if you can see there, but first of all, can we comment on this cover, because it is gorgeous. I love the cover of this book. This was pretty good. This was a pretty good book. I think I gave this 4 or 5 stars on Goodreads, if that tells you anything. I mean, it was good. It was definitely more than a 3-star. What this was about was the Donner Party, which I think most people are familiar with, or at least most North Americans maybe are familiar with, during the time when people are taking their westward journeys across the United States. The Donner Party, their whole group got stuck in the mountains of Colorado because they did not make it through the mountains before winter came. So, then this is a true story. Just for anyone watching that is not familiar with the Donner Party, let me just fix that real quick. This actually happened. So, this group got stuck in the mountains and basically had to cannibalize the dead in order to survive the winter up there. And then apparently, as the story goes, they came down and were kind of ostracized. You know, people found out what had happened up on the mountain, and this is basically their story. It follows the story of Tamsin Donner, which was a real person in the party, and it kind of develops her and really brings to life the people. It's not completely like, it's not like a nonfiction book, but it is based on a real person and what might have happened and her personality and stuff. I love this book. I thought it was excellent. It wasn't a very long read, but it was less, being about people that had to cannibalize each other, it was not as gruesome as I thought maybe it would be. I actually was a little disappointed because I thought, I was expecting like some real struggle with that, but that it was not touched on, the cannibalism was not touched on as much in this book as I expected it to be. So that's the only thing I think I would have changed, just for my personal tastes. Maybe I'm too used to Stephen King because I've been reading him a lot lately, but I expected some real, you know, stuff to, I don't know. That's what I expected, but it's not quite what you get, but it's still beautiful, and it's tastefully done for a book about people that had to cannibalize the dead in order to survive. So I highly recommend this if you're interested in history. I think this would definitely be a good book if you're studying American history, because my mind automatically goes to school stuff for the future. I might give this to the kids as something to sort of awaken their curiosity about that time period and what was going on in the United States, and just the story of the Donner Party, because these types of books, these historical fiction that's based on real stuff, I don't know, I just find it really valuable, and I really like it. So this was a good book. Definitely recommend it for anyone curious or sounds like something you might like. I would pick it up and read it because it was pretty darn good. Now, the next book that I read was My Old True Love by Sheila K. Adams, and I mentioned she's like my new favorite author who's only written like 2 books, but I love her storytelling. I love, love, love her storytelling. Again, this was another Appalachian Civil War love story, and I'm a sucker for that. I need that in my life. There's not enough Appalachian Civil War love stories to keep me satisfied. This was better than The Tall Woman. And this, I guess it's sort of, I don't want to call it cliche, but it does have that storyline of kind of 2 people who are at odds with each other over another person, like a love triangle thing, you know, and betrayal, but it was written by Sheila K. Adams, so that makes it excellent, because guys, just trust me on this. Pick something up by this author if you're wanting to read something by an author that really has a unique voice and is just excellent at storytelling. She is excellent. This brought me to tears a little bit at the end. So it was really beautifully done, and I loved it, and it does sort of squeeze the heart a little bit, or at least it did for me. So this was a blazing 5 stars. I would definitely recommend anyone pick this up, because I feel like anyone could enjoy this, not just me who is obsessed with Civil War in Appalachia. So the next book that I read was The Longings of Wayward Girls by Karen Brown. Another random, really random library book pick that I just slid off the shelf, and then I read the back and thought, okay, because it's sort of like a mystery book. Well, I mean, it is a mystery book, but it's about this woman, and it kind of switches back and forth between her girlhood and then present time in her town that she lives in, because she's apparently lived in the same town her whole life. And something happened when she was younger. A girl went missing. And so the whole book, you're sort of trying to figure out how this has messed her up, basically, and what exactly she had to do with it, you know. What do I say? It was okay. It was another okay book. It was one of those books where you want to keep reading it because you want to find out what happened, but then at the end of it, you put it down and you're like, it was okay. You know, it wasn't fantastic storytelling. I did get a little annoyed with the main character. Okay, I got a lot annoyed with the main character a lot. I don't feel like it was really an accurate portrayal of a middle-aged woman with 2 children. I feel like most women would have an issue doing some of the things that she did, that involved, you know, her family and other people. And I don't want to give away too much because I don't ever know what's too much to give away. So yeah, that bothered me a little bit. So it was just one of those where if you're bored, you need something, this would be a good plane ride read, I guess. You just want to keep reading, find out what happens at the end. You're just kind of like, okay, you know, oh, you know, you might be surprised a little bit, I guess. I don't know. I'm not painting this in a very good light. It was okay. Plane ride book, or train ride if you ride trains. And the last book that I read this past month of July was Maru of the Winter Caves by Anne Turnbull. And this was an assigned reading with the prehistoric unit that I purchased and decided to use this summer with the kids. And what really got me excited about this book was on the back it says Clan of the Cave Bear for young readers, which I was like, okay, I mean, we're going to read it regardless because it came with the unit, and it was the only, like, chapter book that came with it to read to the kids. But that made me extra excited to read it because I love Clan of the Cave Bear. And I will say, I mean, this is, like, obviously geared for younger kids. I enjoyed it as much as an adult can, or as much as I can, someone that doesn't read these books anymore for fun. I guess if I would compare it, maybe I'd compare it to Julia of the Wolves, like, type reading level, except for maybe, I don't know, I kind of want to read Julia of the Wolves on my own right now, so maybe that's not a good comparison. But this was really good. My kids really enjoyed it. They really liked Maru. And this takes place, you know, in prehistory, basically right around the time, I guess, dogs were being tamed. So quite a long ways ago. But Maru is a girl who is basically tasked with saving her family because they get trapped during the winter. They get separated from their large group because they are hunter-gatherer nomads who go hunt during the summer, and then they all gather at a place to, you know, all the separate groups gather together at a place in the winter, and they don't make it to their winter meeting place in time before they get snowed in. So Maru and her brother are sent out, and they have to save their family. You know, and they encounter all the things that you would in the wild in prehistory with predators, you know, and they're eating bugs and hunting with spears and stuff. So I mean, this was an excellent little book, and I definitely recommend it if you like those kind of stories, or for kids. If you have kids, or you're a teacher, or you have a group of kids you need to read to, and you want to kind of bring to life a prehistory for them in a personal way, which Clan of the Cave Bear did for me as an adult, and that this does for the younger age group. So I would recommend this, and I really enjoyed it. So that was all that I read in the month of July. And looking at my little stack now, I felt like I was reading quite a bit, but I guess maybe I wasn't. Definitely not compared to some other people. But I'm still happy with what I read. And most of it was good. Good to okay. Nothing was terrible. So I can't complain. Please comment and tell me if you've read anything from my stack that I showed you. Or if you have any thoughts on it, or if you plan to read it after me talking about it. Sheila K. Adams, My Old True Love, you know, I mean, I'm just saying, you know, that might be a good choice if you're looking for something. So yeah, just comment, tell me what you thought, tell me what you're reading this month, or this coming month of August. And yeah, I will see you guys all again soon.